guys, Megan here, and time for another book review. Today, I'm going to be talking about this, Divergent by Veronica Roth. I'm a little late hopping onto this bandwagon. Divergent takes place in the future, roughly, and the main character's name is Beatrice, though she starts to go by Tris later on in the book. Now, in this dystopian society, there are 4 factions. Each one has their own, this virtue they value the most. And I'm gonna butcher the names, and I'm gonna have to read them off the flap, because I know I'm gonna forget one if I do not. Candor, which values honesty. The Abomination, which values selflessness. Dauntless, which values bravery. Amity, which values peace and peacefulness. And You're Right, which values intelligence. Now, Tris, it was born into Abomination, and she doesn't feel she belongs there because she is not naturally selfless like the rest of her family seems to be. Now, when the children of the factions reach the age of 16, they take this, test which tells them which faction they would belong in the most. And then they have a day to think about it, and the next day they pick what faction they want to be a part of for the rest of their lives. And if you transfer factions, you basically don't keep in touch with anyone from your old faction, and you basically stay within your faction. Faction before blood, that is a phrase that is used a lot in this book. So during her test, Tris finds out that she is what's called Divergent. And Divergence is not good. It's very bad. The government does not like that. Because basically when you're Divergent, you could fit into multiple factions instead of just one. You're harder to control that way because you don't conform to one type of thinking. So the person giving Tris her test basically says, okay, I'm going to manually put you in as this, and I suggest you try and go into another faction and hide. She ends up transferring into Dauntless. And funny thing is, her brother also transfers into Uridite, and that's bad because as of late, the Uridite and the Abomination haven't been getting along really well. So, there are a few other transfers into Dauntless, and they have to go through this initiation. And with this initiation, things are pretty intense. The Dauntless initiation is very intense and violent. Things are even more intense with the initiation because there are some people who are not going to make it through the initiation. I can't remember right now, but I believe it's only the top 10 initiatives make it into the faction. So everyone else is basically cut and they become factionless, which basically means they are homeless and they don't fit in anywhere and they're shunned. So, no pressure, right? And of course, the kids with the highest scores get a chance at the better jobs. Okay, so I'm gonna cut myself off there and go into my spoilery session. So, just, if you have not read this book yet, which if you haven't, you need to get on it now, because it is a good book. It is fantastic, and I'm really excited to see the movie. Just based on the trailers, things are looking really good for a book-to-movie adaptation. So, I'm looking forward to this, and fingers crossed that they do really well. Alright, so spoiler time now. When the initiatives come to the Dauntless compound, we meet 4, helping them train them and go through this whole initiation thing. I was shocked about how intense things were with the initiatives. I freaking hate Peter. I want to punch Peter in the fucking face. Oh my god. Him and Eric, I do not like them, but I guess that's the point. Especially with the whole simulation thing. Oh my god, at the end, holy crap, that traitor asshole. I don't know how I really feel with Four and Tris's romance thing. I do like how it wasn't shoved in our faces early on. I just felt it also could have been a little more gradual. We don't need to be shoved into a romance in the first book. And I have mixed feelings with that. But it does have potential, so it's not a huge deal with me, I guess. I love how we find out more about Tris's parents and everything later on. How her mother used to be Dauntless. I found that really cool. Her mom is Divergent, as is Four. And I just love that. So, Uridite, the leader of Uridite, whose name is Janine, is just evil. she developed this serum to basically make the Dauntless in this like permanent simulation. They're total zombies and they are under her control, and they are using the Dauntless to basically kill the Abomination leaders and start a revolution. And it's terrifying. We found out 4 was from Abomination as well. His name is Tobias? I think it's Tobias. And his father was on the council. And his father was pretty damn abusive, which is why 4 transferred, as well as him being Divergent. I love how that was mentioned earlier in the book, but really rarely brought up again, like maybe once. And then, surprise! Guess who 4 is? So I like that, just a very slight foreshadowing. And then it's there. So that made me happy. I like foreshadowing. Oh my god. The ending was sad too. Janine managed to develop a serum that works on Divergent people. So she uses it on 4, and she's gonna kill Triss, but then Triss's mom comes and saves her. And while the mom is trying to get Triss to safety, where she has the other people they managed to save, she dies while trying to protect Triss, and that was so sad. Like, the death was quick, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, BAM! Feels! So, I thought that was well done. I don't like death scenes that are drawn out too long, but at the same time, I like being hit with the emotion of a death. So, Triss is leading this little ragtag army. They manage to break into the Dauntless compound to try and stop the simulation, and oh my god, it's sad. Triss's father dies while trying to protect Triss too, and oh my god, she lost both her parents in like 24 hours of each other. They were murdered in cold blood, and it was horrible. And she manages to get 4 to break out of the simulation he was in and stop the simulation that the rest of the Dauntless were going through, so they managed to snap out of that. They took Peter hostage because he was not under the simulation. Speaking of shooting and death, poor Will. Poor Will. Triss had to kill Will because it was either him or her, and she picked what most other people would probably pick in saving herself. Which sucks, because now one of her friends is dead, and one of her friend's boyfriend is dead. It's sad. So we end the book with them taking a train to Amity, I think it was, to try and find shelter for safety, because the Erudite are not going to be happy. Basically, things are going to go to shit now. There's probably going to be a huge war between the factions, and it's going to be intense. Yeah, that was a really out of order review, but I love this book. I love this series. I can't wait to be able to read the next one. Though I sadly have a few more books in my reading order, so hopefully I can get through those quickly and read Insurgent. So I'm very excited for this. I'm very excited for the movie. I can't wait to do a movie comparison discussion. So yes! I will see you guys next time, and see ya!